How's it going, everybody? This is Radishhead, and welcome back to Upland Analysis. Well, Bronx came out today. The stress test began in Kingsbridge neighbourhood, which is where my Explorer is currently hanging out. And, well, I didn't get anything. I don't think a lot of people who were participating in the stress test got anything. But you know what? I think there is a lot of positive that we can take away from this stress test experience. And for those of you who weren't available to participate in the stress test today, you didn't miss too much. What basically happened was the Kingsbridge neighbourhood opened up for minting. There were thousands and thousands of people who all swarmed Kingsbridge. So many thousands, in fact, that the game kind of broke in many different ways for many different people. Me personally, my Block Explorer just kind of vanished from the game entirely, so I wasn't able to send him to places because he didn't exist. Other people were within range of properties and they weren't showing up for sale. Other people were stuck in the station for some reason. There was a lot going on, and I can kind of understand why. I mean, if you saw my collection predictions video, a lot of the most popular areas that I've been speculating on, and I imagine a lot of other people have been speculating on too, are all located inside this neighbourhood. For a start, Kingsbridge as a whole is quite a nice part of the Bronx. So you know what I was talking about in my prediction video about Riverdale? Well, Kingsbridge is a pretty similar situation where it wasn't on my list of neighbourhood collections, but it's definitely up there. Like, I can see why some people would think the entire neighbourhood could be a collection because it is a nice part of the city. But I'll tell you what is in Kingsbridge. We've got Broadway. Do you remember when I was saying about the fact that Broadway comes out the top of Manhattan and keeps going north? Well, Kingsbridge is the location of where it comes out at. So obviously everybody was trying to mint stuff on Broadway, including me. To no luck, but you know, I gave it a go. What else have we got in Kingsbridge? To the south, we've got the... Do you remember on my predictions video, we're talking about Fordham, or Fordham Road? Well, that is right at the bottom here, so people were, you know, trying to get Broadway stuff, they were trying to get Fordham Road, and I think that was where the majority of the action was at the very start. People were just sort of waiting for stuff to get minted around there, and then everyone was jumping in. And then so many people were jumping in that everyone else realised that, uh-oh, I don't think I'm going to get anything at all, let alone a Broadway. Which was me. And you'll notice I've got one property in Kingsbridge. Well, as I said in my battle plan video, if you don't get anything minted, it's always a good idea to click this properties nearby icon in the bottom right, because that will show you the cheapest stuff within the screen area that you're looking at. So my screen is currently looking at Kingsbridge, so if I click on this button, it would show me the cheapest property within Kingsbridge, and I did that, and I managed to get a property, a decent sized property at about 20,000 UPIX, which is a decent amount above the mint rate, but still not a terrible price. Because really, I think there are two main takeaways from the Kingsbridge stress test experience. The first of which is that Upland has clearly grown in popularity in a major way. I've never seen a stress test feature so many issues, and I know that could be seen as a bad thing. I'm sure the Uplands team certainly would rather that the stress test went completely smoothly, but it's worth remembering that the Nashville release went really well, the New Orleans release went really well, but I think from all metrics it's pretty clear that the game has grown in a substantial way since Nashville and New Orleans. Following the stress test launch, the Upland staff released a statement saying that 2,000 properties were minted in 10 minutes, which I believe has to be some kind of record. So we have solid evidence that the game has grown in a major way, if anybody needed any proof of that. So I think although Kingsbridge and the Bronx release probably could have gone better, ultimately that's what stress tests are all about. And we certainly stressed the system with the number of properties that were being bought in the Bronx today. The second takeaway that I wanted to get from this was more from a property value perspective. And I was thinking before the Bronx released that if you kind of think about the East Coast in general, there's a reason why they've released the Bronx before anything on the West Coast or the Midwest. And there are areas like Manhattan and Rutherford and to a lesser extent Brooklyn that show that this part of the map is really overdue some new releases. The prices here have been going absolutely mad, and I think that view is probably justified when you take a look in the Bronx right now. We've got one neighbourhood, Kingsbridge, very nice neighbourhood, but the mints aren't super duper expensive. I saw stuff for like 5k. It's not like a ridiculously expensive neighbourhood. But if we just click this magical button here, let's see what the cheapest stuff for sale in Kingsbridge right now is. 39 to 40,000 UPIX. That was actually a little bit higher earlier. In fact, I reckon if I click this button, I thought there was a chance it would already be sold. I think this is going to sell. That's a 25 up to property at 39k. The prices were at about 45k a minute ago. So, people are kind of trying to figure out, what they can sell their stuff for in Kingsbridge. And it's very possible that after the full release of the city, the prices in Kingsbridge are going to go down. But I think this is fairly demonstrable. The fact that the entire neighbourhood minted out in about 10 minutes, plus the fact that after the stuff minted out, all of the properties kept changing hands and the floor just kept going higher and higher and higher. People have been holding on to UPIX because they've been desperate for a new release on the East Coast. I know I have. And they're willing to throw down some serious UPIX to buy properties at quite significant markups. So that's another key takeaway. So first of all, Upland has clearly grown in a major way, and I'm sure the Upland team and developers are going to learn a lot from this stress test and make sure that future releases go more smoothly. And number two, there's just a lot of demand for properties on the East Coast, which means I'm going to have a really fun time over the next few weeks analysing Bronx data, seeing how the floor trend changes, whether that's going to impact the prices in Rutherford or Manhattan or Brooklyn, or are they all going to go up together because they're all part of the same hype bucket? I don't know. We're going to have to find out and see. But if you want to stay in tune of that, I'd recommend giving this video a like and also subscribing to the channel if you want to stay up to date on the latest on Upland news and analysis. But until next time, I'll see you then.